Right then, so around a week ago, Jai Opetaia had his next fight announced on a Saudi card for the Bivol versus Berta Biev, happening on October 12th. And yes, he's fighting Jack Massey, British cruiserweight. Yeah, people have mixed opinions on it. Well, not really mixed opinions. No one's really too happy with it overall, if we're being real. And overall as well, I think it's clear to see that Jai Opetaia has a pretty overall padded record, and we're going to go through it now. And we're going to go through possible better fights that he really, should do to really prove himself more. Because if we're being completely honest, I'm going to have to try and get rid of that. Not sure if I can. No. But yeah, if I'm being completely honest, Jai Opetaia hasn't fully proven himself yet, in my opinion. And we're going to go through that right now in today's video. So, as we know, of course, Jai Opetaia is 25 wins, 19 KOs, 0 losses, 0 draws. So, a good, solid, perfect record there. And, 19 KOs out of 25 wins shows that you've got bloody big power. It really does. But if we look at if we go through some of Jai Opetaia's fights, so obviously Jack Massey is next for him in October. Jai Opetaia, of course, had a win in March against Marius Breeders, which is a very good win, of course. People, a bit of controversy around the first one, if we're being real. But I thought he was able, I thought he definitely did a good job to get the job done in this fight against Marius Breeders. But the big question as well is his gas tank, and that showed in this fight. Opetaia gassed out late on in this fight, and Breeders was able to come back into it and really start to try and do his thing and put Jai under a loss of pressure. And that's the thing. I mean, Jai's got a good chin, but when it gets late, his defense really starts to go, really starts to crumble a bit, and I just feel like with Opetaia, he just can't really last well past 7 rounds, to be fair. It's very clear he does start to tire. And I think, things did show in the first Breeders fight as well when he went the distance. Obviously, before that, we got him knocking out Ellis Zorro in a round. And it's like, you can't see anything from that fight. You can't take anything from that Ellis Zorro fight, because Ellis Zorro going to that fight was levels below him. I don't even know what the point in that fight was. I don't know what the point of that fight was. But it happened, and there you go. It's just to give Zorro a payday. But, Jai Opetaia is the best cruiserweight in the world. Why are you fighting someone at British level in Ellis Zorro? So that makes no sense to me. No sense why you're fighting a British level fighter. And that was literally the exact same when he fought Jordan Thompson. It made sense why the IBF ended up stripping Jai Opetaia. But because, it's like he does come to England, he does go into, enemy territory and, does do his thing at Jai Opetaia and he does win. But it's like, what was the point in this fight? Not Jai Opetaia. Jordan Thompson's basically British level as well. Like, this isn't really it, if we're being real. This isn't it. But, he's got a good record. He's now 15-1. He was unbeaten. Zorro was as well. But at the end of the day, they're British level fighters. They're pointless fights. No wonder you're knocking them out early. Then, obviously, of course, before that fight, we got the Breeders' first fight, of course, where, people were saying Breeders won the fight. And yeah, Jai Opetaia got a bit injured in that one as well, got busted up quite a bit. And it's like, yeah, like you do kind of question the defensive Jai when he's really put under pressure. And that's the thing. That's the truth. You do question that defensive Jai. And if he does fight someone like Crispin Smith, people are like, oh, it's going to be so easy. I was one of those people, but really looking at it and really thinking about it. It's not easy at all. Like, let's be real. If Jai Opetaia fought like Zerdo Ramirez, that's a fight that Jai Opetaia really could lose. It could. And, look, past the Breeders' fight, before that, he fought Daniel Russell in Australia. Like, he's 1 star on BoxRec. 7 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws when he fought it. Like, you know, for an IBF world champ going into that fight against Bruce, like, what is that record for someone who Jai Opetaia should be fighting in an 8-round fight as well? Previous before that as well, Benjamin Kelleher in a 10-round fight. It's like, you know, once again, it's a really padded win. It's a really, really, really padded win. And let's be real, Benjamin Kelleher hasn't beaten any good names whatsoever. It's mostly guys with losing records. Then you've got Mark Flanagan, again, like, you know, 24-7, who hasn't got any good wins on the record. So past the Breedis fight, which was in 2022, by the way, he had literally no names on his record apart from Breedis. Before going into basically a year ago, we're in August right now. So, and Jai Opetaia's only really been fighting 3 decent names overall. And let's be real, can you even really fully count Zorro? Really though, yes, Thompson's a decent name, but you know, better than who else Jai Opetaia's been fighting. But again, like Zorro, I'm not even fully sure if you can count it. And when he fought Breedis again, Breedis had been out for over like almost 2 years, really. He was out for ages until the rematch. So he fought and he beat an inactive Breedis in the rematch, who he really should have fully been clearing out, in my opinion. But again, Breedis is a tough guy. But again, like, you know, Jai Opetaia have been fighting in 10 rounders, 10 rounders, 10 rounders, 10 rounders, 10 rounders. Breedis was his first ever. You know, 8 rounders there, 4 rounds. Like, you know, Breedis was Jai Opetaia's first ever 12-round fight. His first ever 12-round fight. And people are bigging, you know, Opetaia up like he's, you know, like he's very good, very skillful when he's got power, Opetaia. But people saying, oh, Billum Smith's scared and all that are jokers. Like, you know, like Billum Smith could beat Jai Opetaia. People saying Opetaia wipes him out are delusional, in my opinion. I was one of those people, but now I literally have changed my mind on that completely. I think Zurdo Ramirez could beat Jai Opetaia. I really do think someone like Zurdo Ramirez could beat Jai Opetaia. But again, no, if you look at it, though, the cruiserweight division is kind of a bit dead overall, though. That's the thing. That's the sad thing. Like, you know, when Opetaia beats Jack Massey, you can't count it as a massive win and, you know, go around saying, oh, Opetaia is an absolutely massive next big thing. You can't do that, in my opinion. You really can't. And this is the harsh truth about Jai Opetaia overall, in my opinion. I just showed you the box track. He's, you know, Breedis was his first ever 12-round fight. And, you know, yes, Opetaia was wiping those guys out, but it's like, you know, I don't think Opetaia is fully on the level that people think he has. I'm not going to lie. Opetaia hasn't fully proved himself apart from in those Breedis fights. But again, people can argue in those Breedis fights, Opetaia wasn't exactly overly convincing anyway in those fights. And against Jordan Thompson, yes, it's an all right name to have, but Thompson was put in there as, you know, a decent British name for Opetaia to beat. Then Ellis Zorro, I don't even know what that fight was. It made no sense. That's what I've got to say. The cruiserweight division shit, though. That's the thing. The cruiserweight division's awful. I mean, you've got Robin Safar possibly trying to build his way up after his win over Kovalev. You've got Callum Johnson, I guess, trying to, you know, build his way up. I mean, you've got the Chris Billum Smiths and you've got the Zurdo Ramirez's. But other than that, like, what have we actually got in this cruiserweight division? In my opinion, it's not exactly amazing. It's a pretty dead division. Overall, in my opinion. And that's why, you know, Opetaia might not ever fully be able to prove himself unless he gets a win over Billum Smith and Zurdo, something like that, or like a Callum Johnson or someone like that as well. Like, yeah, anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here. But, like, as well, though, Opetaia, it's not like he's got, like, a master knack on his record. Like, you know, like a real, you know, old guy in the game who, you know, has been around for a long time, experienced. It's not like he's got a win over him or, like, or like a Lawrence Okoli or someone like that, or a it's just I just don't think he's at the level that people think, in my opinion. He really isn't. But yeah, he's very good. I'm not fully discrediting him, of course, but people are massively overhyping him. And I think, there's much closer fights for him than what people think there would be, such as against Erdo and Billy Smith. Anyway, I'm ending this video here. Thanks for watching this video, Keel. I'll speak to you in a bit.